sea lion shows with each sea lion by letting them know they're loved. And the only way you can do this with Jack, Abby, is by giving him a big kiss on the lips. He's up for it, you gotta do it. Go on, kiss him, kiss him. Now I don't know how many of you out there have eaten your best friend's boogies, but that is what Abby has just done. Disgusting. Now Jack, even though you're grumpy sometimes, you're a real nice guy. Give him a wave, he'll give you a wave back. Now Bounty showed us some of the things our sea lions are able to do. Jack's going to teach us how we actually do it in the first place. Our sea lions don't speak any English, so the way we train them is through something called positive reinforcement. So every time they do good, they are given a reward. So the first thing we've got to figure out, Jack, is what you like. Can anyone out there guess what a sea lion likes? Fish is a very good guess. Fish is the only thing Jack likes. Our other two sea lions have favourite toys, games. We just give Jack what he wants, and that is dinner every day, all day, everything. Now, the first thing we actually introduce him to is the whistle Abby's got in her mouth. And all we do is blow on that whistle and give him a fish. He quickly realises that every time he hears that noise, he is going to get some kind of reward. You can come back in, yeah. You just have to knock on the door, because I'll still be doing all this talking nonsense. Now, there you go. Now Jack, once we have realised that you can get fish every time you hear that whistle, we introduce a funny looking stick that Abby's got in her hand called a target. You do have to put the fish in his mouth, Abby. All we do first is hold that target out in front of Jack, wait for him to touch it to his nose and blow the whistle. Now Jack has been doing this since he was about a year and a half old. So at 13, he will pretty much follow that target anywhere it goes until he hears that whistle and he knows he can come back and get his reward. Now he did a good job following that target, so give him a little bit of a cheer. He did well. Now the problem is, that is quite easy for Jack. That is how we start training and how we shape all of his behaviours. But eventually we take it away and we introduce what's known as a cue. Now cues are quite often hand gestures and they are our way of talking to the sea lion. So Jack is not listening to a single thing that's going on right now. What he's looking at is Abby's hands. So you'll see her wiggling them around all over the place, and that is what he's choosing to look at. If he doesn't want to do anything, believe me, he will completely ignore Abby, and that happens more often in shows than we'd like to think. Now not everything we train is done this way. Sometimes we do have to be a little bit more creative. Hello? We're doing, no, the show's full, sorry. I swear, honestly, I've got an absolute ruckus going on at this door, thank you. Now, what was I saying, Abby? What part of the show were we on? Cool! So, we can actually do something known as capturing. I'm absolutely exhausted, I'm getting abuse at this back door. They want to come and see the sea lion show, but there's no room, and they want to talk to me while I'm trying to do this. Are you all having a good time, yeah? You've got in, you showed up on time. Good, yeah. Now capturing is where we kind of sit where you guys are, and we just wait until our sea lions do something that comes natural. When it happens, we blow the whistle and give our sea lions some treats, and gradually they figure out what we're asking for. So one thing Jack's been learning is actually how to make lots of noise. So every time he made noise, we would give him a treat. Now we are still very much training this, so what we're going to try and do is ask Jack to make noise. If it happens, please give him the biggest cheer you can, because it's quite something. Go on, Jack! It's a very silent noise. Maybe he's using those dog whistle tones that are too high for us to hear. Abby, maybe if you bark, people will think it's happening. I was 2 years of my life trying to train that, and it just sounded like he was barking. I'm so proud. Now Jack, to finish off with you, we're going to let you do a little bit of showing off and show the most recent thing that you have learned, and that is in theory how to do a flip out of the water. Now sea lions naturally do this to try and get away from any predators. It's very confusing for them. So if Jack manages, give him a cheer. Now frankly, it is a real life miracle us witnessing that Jack is here and he did anything, so give him one last cheer before he goes off to his bed. Now we do have one more sea lion to bring out for this show, and frankly he is the biggest attention seeker any of us have ever met, and he is not going to be happy that we have brought out 2 sea lions before him. So when Callum, our eldest sea lion, comes through the door, please pretend it's Beyonce. Clap, cheer, wolf whistle if you have it in you. Now I'm not kidding when I say this animal is full of himself. If you guys aren't cheering enough for him, he'll just cheer for himself. There you go. Now Callum, one last time, give them a wave to say hello. Hi everyone! Now you managed to see how we train our sea lions, but the problem is with our shows, people often leave assuming that we train our sea lions so they won't perform. Now we love having you all here, but there has not been a better example of it not being for shows than the last 2 years. Because Abby, there's not been any shows during lockdown. Where have you been? Right here! So we train our sea lions every single day, whether you're here or not. And the most important reason is to make sure they're healthy. All we've got to do with our cues is ask them. We can have a good look all over them from head to toe, and they're quite happy letting us have a look. And we can check for anything out of the ordinary, and if we see them every single day, we know if there's any change. The problem is, when the vet comes down, he is not going to want to do what Abby's doing, and that is because when the vet's here, the sea lions probably aren't feeling so good and they're a bit more unpredictable. And sea lions don't have a collarbone like us humans do, so they can whip their head all the way around to their bum. And we have been told, Abby, that we cannot let our sea lions fight the vet. They're very cute, look at, but they can be as dangerous as a lion or a tiger. So the most important thing our sea lions know how to do is to lie nice and flat on the ground like a big fat sausage. Now what you might notice here is Callum has got his bum up in the air, which is a sign that the stage is cold and he doesn't want to get his bits too cold, which is cute. But ultimately, Callum, we'd like you flat, but
I think we'd like you
embarrassed. But in that position, we can pick him over from head to toe for anything out of the ordinary, ask at the vet. But Callum, you look gorgeous as always. We don't need no vet. So the next reason we train our sea lions is because they're so intelligent. We want to keep their brains working as much as possible. So we play games with them every single day to work that brain out. So all of our games look really silly, but all of them have a purpose. Callum's favourite game involves a basketball. So we are going to throw this into the water, but it does come with a caution. If you are in the first couple of rows, Callum can and sometimes will hit this ball over the glass. You're all smiling right now, but it is a real basketball. If it does just land on the floor, leave it where it lands and I'll come pick it up. Believe me, you don't want any of Abby's germs. That being said though, if it comes towards your face or the face of your loved ones, you are more than welcome to catch it or hit it out of the way. Do not do what the lady did last week in one of our shows. She just sort of held up her child and let them take the hit instead of her. The child was under a year old and it will never look the same again. So we are going to throw that ball into the water and Callum's going to have a little play. Now he doesn't realise it, but he's actually working out lots and lots of different muscles by kicking that ball around. And one thing he's working out are the whiskers that he has on his face. They are incredibly sensitive, and in the wild he would use them to hunt for fish in dark or murky waters. He wouldn't even need to use his eyesight, those whiskers could find fish for him. But we're going to give him a cheer. That was some lovely football.